It's like a dream when I whisper that I love you and you say it back to me. I got you for the rest of my days, in the sun on Sunday morning or the pouring rain. I got you for the rest of my life, and if all else goes wrong, baby, I'll be alright, 'cause I got you, and only you, and only you. I got you, and only you, and only you. Baby, looking in your eyes, it's like we're in slow motion, just you and me tonight. And baby, you're leaning for a kiss, and I know, and I know, and I know that it don't get better than this. 'Cause I got you for the rest of my days, in the sun on Sunday morning or the pouring rain. I got you for the rest of my life, and if all else goes wrong, baby, I'll be alright, 'cause I got you, and only you, and only you. I got you, and only you, and only you. I got forever, and I got all I'll ever need, 'cause I got you. I got you for the rest of my days, in the sun on Sunday morning or the pouring rain. 'Cause I got you for the rest of my life.
Welcome, everyone. It's great to see each and every one of you. Um, yeah, so good to see each one of you. Wherever you are joining from various parts of the world, it's a blessing to have each one of you, and we are excited for what this year has for each and every one of us. So before we start the presentation, I just want to have a word of prayer because I think it's important to submit whatever we do, be in anything in the finance world, to submit it to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, to submit it to God. Whatever we do, because He is with us and He is in us, and He leads us in everything that we do. So let's just pray and thank Him for this time, as we hear some amazing things that God's kingdom has for us to share with His children here. So let's pray. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for this beautiful time, Dad. We thank you for all your children, your precious sons and daughters who have joined from various parts of the world, from various nations tonight, this morning, this evening, wherever they are from, oh Father, Lord. These are your sons and daughters. These are your children. We are your children, oh Father. Thank you for the great kingdom news, the great kingdom plans that you have for each one of us this year. So as we begin this session, Father, we lay everything at your feet and we just say, thank you, Dad, for this amazing opportunity that you are going to speak to each one of us. And let us continue to be a blessing to the nations and to the world around us. So, Lord, we thank you. We submit this time, this presentation into your hands, and you speak to us through your Son. And we know that this is going to be a blessing that will change nations, that is going to change the world and the way we think in terms of finances, oh Father. So, Lord, we thank you. We give you all the glory, all the honor, the worship, and the praises. So, without taking much of the time, I will pass it on to our brother Al Ruben, who is an amazing kingdom man who is a son of God, who has a heart for the nations and each one of us, um, to share, how we can create wealth, because God tells us through His Scripture that He has given us the power to create wealth. God has given each one of us the power to create wealth. So without much delay, I'll pass it over to Brother Ruben, an amazing mentor, amazing son of God, who has something exciting for each one of us. So, Brother Ruben, over to you.
Thank you so much, Navin. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, depends on which part of the world we're calling in from, right? Guys, it's an interactive session, so I'd love for each of you to turn your cameras on, unless you've got really bad signal. If there's anyone that you've noticed normally comes in, or there's someone who needs to jump in, please give them a call. Text them, say, hey, we're just about to start into the actual session, so jump in. Because we want 2024 to be an amazing year that we have set ourselves up in an amazing way. I want you to put in the chat group which country you're calling in from, which part of the world you're calling in from. Let's do that as we just see. And guys, can we put, while you're doing that, say a big thank you to Navin by putting a 777 in the chat group, just to say thank you to Navin for great hosting and introduction today. And also we want to put a 333 in the chat group for M, to say thank you for all her work in the background, reminding everyone we were on, and getting this happening this way. If we could have our Google Pixel person put their name on, that'll be wonderful. Just want to make sure we know each one. I know the Lord is good as Emmanuel, so welcome. If pictures can jump on, have your video on, that is even better. Where are people calling in from? Sydney, Sanjit, good to see you, bro, Sunny. Other countries, where are we calling in from? I'm from amazing Melbourne, as I like to always say. What about others? Where are you in? Which part of the world? Lots of Melbourneites, which is great. Malaysia, amazing. Adelaide, David, good to see you on, bro. Kenya, wow. Laura, good to have you on. Kenya is on. Hyacinth is in Melbourne, excellent. And the Lamborghini man, Ross and Hiromi, Melbourne. Anyone else from any other country? Fiji, Sydney. I was almost getting excited when I saw Imtiaz. You are in here, but yes, your heart is in two countries. What a blessing, and what a joy it will be to others. Guys, great to have each one on. And thank you for being part of this. It's an hour where we just intensely look at what is happening for the week. We've got amazing things that are taking place. I don't know about you, but I'm more and more excited each week we get into. It's the middle of February. A lot of people in Feb normally start to get stressed out, anxious. But I know in our team and our family, as we've been hanging around, and as Navin, started with prayer, we say we trust what God has for us, and knowing who we are as inheritors is amazing, right? So one of the most important things in wealth creation is knowing who you are. I don't know how many of you have made money in the past and lost it. If you have ever made money and lost it, and you didn't know where it went, and it suddenly left you, and you were left surprised, can you put a 1 in the chat group? Well, let's put a 0, actually. Forget about a 1. Put a 0, because hey, I made money, I lost it, don't know what happened. That thing ran from me. And I've discovered that the reasons that happens is because we don't know who we are. And if we want to create wealth, we've got to come to terms with our relationship with who we are and where we've come from, and what are we on this earth. And so one of the things I often say is that we are inheritors, not imposters. Someone can write that down, put that in the group. We are inheritors, not imposters. What does that mean? Someone just want to unmute and share. We've got some who, actually, before we do that, let's say if you're here for the first time, can you put a 1 in the chat group? Because we want to welcome those who are here for the first time. And then we have our regulars here. So we want to be able to answer questions. So Sunny, welcome. Anyone else here for the first time? I know David is here for the first time, so welcome. Who else is here for the first time? Yes, we're inheritors, not imposters. Excellent. Wonderful. Got a few first timers. Rory, welcome. Okay, so for our current students, let's help the ones who are here for the first time. What does it mean? Because part of wealth creation is knowing who we are. So one of the things we touch on is, apart from we're looking at practical ways of doing things, we also touch on we need to have our mind in the right place. We need to have our heart in the right place. And without that in place, we miss out on wealth. And we can get rich, but we can miss it, because being rich is selfish, being wealthy is generous. Okay, so could someone unmute and tell me, what does it mean to be an inheritor, not an imposter? What have we been learning about that, and what is your take on that? Yes, we got Sri Lanka on. Shyami, it is so good to see you on. Blessings. Dr. Shyami is in the house. So, who wants to unmute and share? What does it mean to be an inheritor, not an imposter? As we've talked about often, this is a very important aspect because once you get this, it changed my life. It changed my understanding of how to create wealth. It stopped me from stressing and losing money and helped me to learn to steward money well. I heard a voice, so I'm hearing. Let's see who's going to share.
Yeah, I
Rossi,
can go.
go for it.
As a son to the King of Kings, I have every right to his blessings, financially, health, everything. So I am an inheritor to the King of Kings. And I'm not an imposter. I'm not a slave, orphan, or a servant.
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing, Russ. Anyone else want to answer that question? What does it mean and how does that relate to the wealth creation side of things? To be an inheritor, not an imposter. Because our identity is very important. It's going to be very crucial on today's topics on creating a legacy today. I would love to hear students before I pick on you. Unmute those who've been in here. The first timers are given an opportunity to learn from you. What does it mean to be an inheritor, not an imposter? This is not where you wait for someone else. If you're an inheritor, you jump in, you interrupt.
For me, it's basically that we it's an inheritance. Inheritance means that, I mean, what God has given us that God has given us and blessed us more than we can have, so that we can be a blessing to others in that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who else? Margaret, you want to say?
Just going to say, as an inheritor and a son or daughter of God, that automatically comes with an inheritance. You're entitled to everything.
Yeah, love it. Awesome.
So there's no thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't have this or I can't have that. It's my right.
Wow, love it. It's my right. Who else? One more person wanted to answer. What is an inheritor rather than imposter? Why is that important for us to gain that and put that into our minds this week as we start our week in wealth creation? Okay, so you need to remember this. How many of you have children? If you have children, kind of, and your camera's on, you can wave at me. I got children. Or how many of you have been a child and have had parents? I'm sure all of you can say yes to that. Now, did you ever wake up every single morning, right, during your childhood, and go up to your parents and say, "Am I really your son or daughter?" I mean, I know all of us probably had some thoughts in our mind sometimes saying, "Was I really adopted or was I really born?" But I'm talking about every single day, constantly in our minds, being afraid that we don't belong in the household and we can't go to the fridge and take food, or we can't go in our home, in our parents' home, and just drink water or go and have a shower, that we had to ask permission. We felt like we were imposters. Or did we all feel like, yeah, that was my inheritance, right? Sometimes our children take things for granted. When we are kids, we take for granted that our parents are going to look after us, take care of us, right? Would you all agree with that? I want to put a yes in the chat group if you agree with that, and N in the chat group if you don't agree with it. But if I'm an inheritor that way, then how much more with the one who created us in the same way as family and said, you have everything. But if you reach out to the same with the mindset of, I'm an imposter, I have to beg, I have to hope, I have to be a good boy or a good girl in order to receive, then you've missed the point of inheritance. Because inheritance is regardless of your goodness or badness, right? If those are words. It's regardless of your behavior, it has to do with your bloodline. But our behavior determines how well we steward it. Does that make sense? So if you can't steward things well, that's why we lose money. And so it's really important today that we begin to understand that we are not imposters, we are inheritors. Very exciting time. So today I want to just share some screens. I'm going to share for a few minutes and I'm going to pass it on to Papa Luke. We have the privilege of having him share for another few minutes, and then I'll come back and we're going to do a lesson today that's going to be powerful and exciting. And it's going to determine creating a lifestyle of purpose. So we're going to just start off on this. Many people have said that they don't know, they haven't even created a future for themselves. So as we say, the whole idea of these hours on a Monday and a Friday as we start and finish our week is to create a lifestyle worth living. Okay. And in 2024, we want to, let's go, right? I say it's not any more time to go slow. We want to accelerate on the truths that you have learned. Okay. So hope you have your notepads. Hope you are ready to go. Hope you're ready to say, yes, I've got something. I'm going to take some information. I'm going to take it and move to the next position, next step. I've just got a message from Yuri that he is asking about meetings. Could someone reach out to him and give him the link so he can jump into our link, please? Thank you. All right, guys. So just to put into perspective here, the P61 ecosystem, and I love this. It's a community or a group that lives and interacts with each other in a specific environment. Okay. And we always talk about this question of who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? What are my goals and dreams? And what is in my hand to start doing? Because I always ask the question, when I have hopes and dreams, what is stopping me from starting today? One of the best things, the things that I love the best is that I can personally say that I have learned to live in purpose. Living in purpose changes the way I create goals. So if you have set up goals and you have no purpose, you're in trouble. All right. But if you live from purpose, amazing things start to take place. Make sense? And so what we want to do is learn how that challenge takes place on a practical basis, but we first got to change our mind. As I said, the Kingdom Wealth Management System has 4 components. It's the mindset of wealth training. There's the business world of entrepreneurship and innovation. There's the property, real estate assets, and there's the digital world. Now, some of you who may have seen this for the first time, we've got it on our previous recordings as well in more detail, so you can see that. And so what we said last Monday was we need to learn to create a wealth portfolio. So if you need to take a screenshot of this, please do. I want you to start to recognize that there's a portfolio that we want to create. What does that mean? Well, what is a portfolio? It's an arena, an area, a composition of something that you will create. So like our crypto coins, we're creating a portfolio. Like some of our business side of things, we're creating a portfolio. So I want you to think about your wealth portfolio as a place that you will go to, and in your notes, you will write these sections down and begin to fill them in. And this will help you, guide you step by step in each part of the journey. So mindset, wealth training, business portfolio, property portfolio, and digital world portfolio. Just looking at the 4 areas that we will continue to look at every single Monday, Friday, and look at where we're heading for the week, and then look back and say, where have we been and how do we get a little step closer to understanding and being good stewards of wealth creation and learning it and then applying it and producing. So this year is not just about learning, it's about learning and earning. Okay, so that's why we got some practical stuff that is also taking place. Awesome. Let me just admit the 2 people in our waiting room. And I've made a few of you co-hosts, so if you could just keep an eye on the waiting room as well, please. Thank you. So I talked about last week creating a portfolio of change, and what I want to fill it up with today is those 4 areas. And I will just give you a screenshot of this, and I'll come back to this later. Take a screenshot of this. The mindset wealth training, guys, is all about continuous retraining of your wealth mind. Now, this is really important. I'm focusing on the mind today. Is what is your relationship to money and wealth? Okay, if you are continuously not having continuous breakthroughs with finances, it is possible that you have a bad relationship with money. Some of us look at money as evil. Some of us think of money as without it, we cannot live. Some of us think of money as the savior of everything that we need. So can you see it can be greed or it can be poverty, but everything that leads to that mindset of the poor that beg for money, the rich that chase after money, is a poor relationship with money and wealth. What we want to do is look at continuous retraining of what is our mind, our wealth mindset, because the wealthy do what? They control money, okay? And money doesn't control them. So would you like to work for money or money to work for you? Put in the chat group your answer. Work for money or money to work for you, okay? The other thing we want to do here, and it's great, having people respond to this is important, because as we type these information in, we are also speaking it out. Speak it out aloud as you type it in. I want money to work for me. I don't want to work for money. Why? Because then your subconscious begins to kick in, and we want to look at the retraining of our emotional and soul mind, our relationship with ourselves. Many of us have been taught that we have been we have to go to work. Working and a job are two different things. Going to a job and a career was never something God designed for us. And even though it's not a negative thing and people have used it for positive, it has made us a slave to many things. And I often say to people, if you have all the money in the world, would you continue to work? And I guess or would you continue to go to your job? Now, you might still have a desire to do something. And I'm fully occupied. I'm not busy, because I said busy is being under Satan's yoke, fully occupied. But the emotional mind relationship is that I have not been designed for 9 to 5. How many of you would agree with that? You have not been designed for just to be a slave for job for 65 years of your life and then retire and then start to live out your life. And by then you're getting too old, or you're getting too cold, or your bones are rattling, or whatever the reason is, or you don't have enough money, or you've got to leave something for the following generation. Okay, so we're going to look at the mindset. Wealth training is all about our mind, wealth mind, our emotional soul mind, and discovering your spirit mind. Discovering means you don't need to retrain yourself in it. You have to just know that you are already an inheritor, and knowing who you are, what your identity is. Okay, is this helping anyone? If it is, can you put just encourage me, put a 777 in the church, in the chat group. Okay, so we want money to work for you, not you to work for money. So every time you're working for money, begin to think about how do I change that so that eventually money can work for me? Now, you might have to start with you working for money, because that's how our minds have been taught, but eventually we want money to work for us. Secondly, the second screen is about the business wealth of entrepreneurship and innovation. And we've looked at the two resources that I'll encourage you to read, which is How to Start a Business with Little or No Capital. It's on Amazon, and Better Than the Tides. It's on Amazon. Both are written by me. There's also Investment Opportunities. Who was there on the weekend, just on the weekend in Melbourne, and saw the investment opportunity of SAM Digital Technologies. There's info sessions on Tuesday and Thursday this week. If you haven't and missed that, this is in the entrepreneurship side of things. Okay, if you're there on the weekend, pop a in the group saying yes, I was, or if you were on the weekend for SAM Digital, so that some of you others can look at them, and if you know the person, say go and talk to them and say, what was this all about? And come listen more. And how amazing was it? We had one person who was there. No, it was about over 15 of us from our group that was there. So I want to see more yeses if you were on the weekend at SAM Digital. Okay, and it was amazing, right? How many of you were excited about it? I mean, the world that we are being open to is exciting. Okay, and we had a brother MTS all the way from Sydney come join us, which is really great. And we're so happy to have him there. And brother Timo as well was there. Okay, now the sexy part is property, real estate, assets. As we go along through this year, we're going to look at things like asset opportunities in Australia, in Melbourne. We're going to talk about things like NDIS, Airbnb, house share, homestay, and that'll relate to some of you in other countries as well. The information will become very practical for those that we are training, and as you walk along today. So I want to see at least 10%, 20% of you become millionaires this year. Is it possible? Through cash and assets, is it possible? So how many of you are ready to do that? Because it's going to take commitment from you to say, I want to be able to create $1 million asset and cash income and be a millionaire. Because a millionaire is when you take all your assets and minus all your liabilities, and you have $1 million or plus there, you are a millionaire. How exciting is that? So how many of you are ready to become millionaires this year? And I'm not just saying, everyone wants to be a millionaire, right? But to actually have $1 million income. So we got to start with more than $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Okay, and if you're in other countries, you can convert that to the shillings and the rupees and look at the idea of how do I become and earn more than what I am doing now. And it starts with that belief system and having a better relationship with money. Lastly, guys, we're going to look at the digital world through this year. And the resources that we looked at have been the vMastery through Validus. Crypto and Chill is a great book on Amazon that I can highly recommend. That is, some of you got the book, very, very good book, excellent to look at. And then you've got not Fazil and Shalash, it's just Fazil Shalash. So excuse where it says Fazil and Shalash. And there's Forex trading, crypto coin portfolio with Santosh. How many of you come on a Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. for training there? And look, the week is packed with learning. Okay, so if you come to Santosh's group, this guy is free of charge, giving of his time. It is amazing, and we just want to appreciate him so much on a Thursday, on a Tuesday, creating a portfolio with us for the bull run that is about to come. And it's very good information, DCing on coins, learning to understand how the Bitcoin movement goes. And he's not just telling us what to do, he's saying, here's what to do, here I'm teaching you. And as you learn in the next 2 years, you'll be able to do the same research as me. And it's excellent. Investment opportunities we've talked about are the DAO system, the MET5. Some of us just went on the program now. Let me just keep recommending to you guys, this is an amazing opportunity for community to get together and create income where the numbers don't lie, through a matrix system, a very simple system, very open system, transparent system. If you haven't jumped on, please go get the information, make your own decision, but jump in, because what is about to come in the bull run, this is setting us up in the right way. And the picture I have in the spirit realm when I see the DAO system and this MET5, the decentralized system in MET5, is an avalanche. How many of you know what an avalanche is? It's something like that builds up into this huge ball, a small ball of snow that kind of avalanches into a huge thing. If you set yourself up straight, right, there's an amazing thing that's going to take place. Finally, part of the business side of things is also for those who want to become networkers. Put in a chat group of one if you're interested in becoming a networker. I had a negative view of networking in the past, but now I found that Jesus was the best networker in town. What a blessing to be able to transfer information by creating leadership and transferring information to them and passing that down to others. And if we learn that in the business realm, how much more would we be able to do that also in our purposes that we've been called for? So in the chat group, I want to know, how many of you here think, I want to really learn how to be a networker? Even if I've never done it before, I want to learn how to pass information on, help others, and see something that's so important that I can learn to approach others. And I used to be someone who was an introvert who was very scared. Do I have anyone who's taking on that and saying, yes, I want to be a networker? Yes, we've got one, David. Anyone else? So highly recommend this book, guys. Become a Networker. GoPro, I just got it from my friend yesterday. It's on the networkmarketingpro.com. It's by a guy called Eric War. If that's how you pronounce his name, great. We're seeing more people saying ready to become a networker. Sanjit, yes. Emmanuel, well done, yes. And Mercy, yes. So we got a few who are saying yes, because when you start to learn to produce as a networker, you're passing information, you're helping others, you're becoming selfless and generous. Okay, so guys, this is part of the plan for the week. You've got some timings here. MET5 is every Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. for 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Sanjit was on today, did an amazing job hosting. So please, let's put a 777 in the chat group to say thank you to him, because he did such a great job. And I'll be presenting tomorrow. Want to invite more people to jump in. And at 7 a.m. there's training on the quality and information, because there's so much to learn about this new system. So as we get into the digital world, we want to be able to learn more as we go. Okay, there's other stuff coming up in Bitcoin mining, AI tech and stuff that we'll let you know if there's anything there that we can put practical ground to. But this is stuff that we're running with right now that's working for us. Okay, so before I go into this for the rest of the night, I want to pass it on to Papa Luke, but I am excited about how we design our lifestyle. So our president of Project 61, Papa Luke, the amazing, over to you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you for such an amazing knowledge and clarity you are bringing into our lives. I mean, everyone that is here, we want to welcome you. If this is your first time to join, you are in a good place. You are in the company of good people, people that love life, people that are excited about life. Everything life excites us. And yeah, that is really good. Thank you for those points that you are downloading into us. You know, I said I have discovered personally that one of our greatest challenges in life is tradition. And a lot of our lives are built on tradition. Everything we know, everything we are, and if nothing is done, that forms our, how we know ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we see the world. And when we look back to what we have known so far, what we've been taught, what we've been told about who we are and about how we should live our lives, especially from the politicians and some of the institutions that are in place, from what we know now, or from what I know now, we've been restricted and limited by the past. Example will be the education system that we all had, where the main purpose and the primary purpose of education is to prepare us for the Industrial Revolution, where all our lives we're gonna work, we work from 9 to 5. It's all about work. And when we go to school, right from the early start of school, our minds are prepared to work. And by the time you finish your college or your university, I mean, all the specialization is either you're a doctor, or you're an accountant, or you are a teacher. It's all about profession, and it's not designed to enrich our lives. And one of the things I discovered, especially in the Western world, which is to them, that is the strength of everything, is, how by the time you finish your college and you want to go into university, you have to start with the HECS. Here in Australia, it's called HECS. New Zealand is called student loan. They say just come along and take loan, and you went through your school. And what we don't realize is that all our lives are being set up to start with debt. By the time we finish the school and the first day you get into job, your life, you're already loaded. You are carrying a heavy burden of debt. And of course, the next, the rest of our lives will be trying to offset those debts. But before you even try to offset that, another forms of debt start to build up. We start to have car debt, because if you're gonna go to work, you must We gotta use a car. The next will be, of course, televisions. Everything is on interest-free loan, and we buy. And of course, you're gonna own a house again. You enter into a 30 years mortgage around the house. If you check your age now and what you will be after 30 years, you'll find out that the rest of our life is just walk, 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 walk. And so because of all these things that creep is, that we tied ourselves down with, you cannot afford not to work one day. You cannot afford the luxury to stay 1 week break. I know. Even some have to do 2 or 3 jobs to meet up. Now, is this what our lives designed for? I think that is what, and where this training on wealth creation is actually beginning to make sense. Because what I'm learning at this age, at this time of my life, was never ever taught. I've never learned there when I was going to, during school time. No one ever thought that you can create wealth. We are all taught to work for somebody, work in a corporation, work in a company, work in a supermarket, and that is the way you can just go by. But all of a sudden, there is something there that we begin to discover. To me, this is a journey of discovering. And from the time I begin to understand identity, who I am, I begin to understand not just who I am, but I start to understand what I have. And I begin to understand what I can do. I begin to understand that, hey, my life is more than what tradition has taught me. Tradition, the cage that we've been put in all this time. And this is where it is different. I know this can still be a battle to many people, because this journey we are embarking in wealth creation, a lot of us will feel a bit of uncomfortable. A lot of us will think, oh, this is too much information. How about risk this, risk that? The very reason why we are thinking risk is because we never know. We never know that things like this exist. We never know that things like this can happen. But now our eyes are opening. We're beginning to learn. I love my Sandeep. I think Sandeep is somewhere here. Sandeep, his word is that we are all blessed with multiple of expenses. And each time I remember going to work and I said that among our staffs, everybody just burst into laugh, because that is true. We are all blessed with multiple sorts of expenses, but many of us are restricted, with means of earning. We don't have that. And the world, the society, the community, they don't care. The government is not, they don't care. But I am really grateful for the opportunity that we are now beginning to understand that there are so much that belongs to us, so much that we can do, so much. And the good thing for us is this opportunity to learn. I know many people have been beaten, many people have been, they've had a very bad experience, who try to venture out and do things on their own. I mean, this evening I'm hearing on the news of somebody, someone called them and said, oh, Netflix, you have an account with Netflix. Somehow they believe the story and submit all their, bank details and stuff like that. And before they know it, the money they have in the account has been siphoned. There are wicked people and bad people out there trying to take things from people. The thing is, people are still falling into that kind of things. So there are risks everywhere. But when you have a community that help you understand and learn, have a community where you have mentors who can help you to understand and learn from experience and what they've done, and a community who are thinking the way you are thinking, I think we are in a very safe place. I think that is where this opportunity is very, very important to each and every one of us. It is good. We know what we are doing. It is, don't feel you are too old to learn. I personally, I don't feel that I'm too old to learn. I am learning every day. The language, I am learning the opportunities. I am learning what is really out there, things that we wouldn't have known otherwise. So this year, I personally am committed, to learn as much as well as to practice what I'm learning by practically investing and taking up all these opportunities that present themselves to us today. It is real. So thank you for being here. I know that personally for me, I'm excited for this. I am really, really excited. And thank you, Ruben, and for all our leaders and people who are on this call today. So over to you, Pal.
Thank you, Papa Luke. What a blessing, guys. Can you please thank Papa Luke? What number should we put in there? Should we put a 111? Mom's tapping him on the back. That's even better. Mama's saying, let's go. Amazing. And I really appreciate that Papa Luke has never stopped learning. What a blessing to have a great leader for us, to know that learning is we will always be learning, and we should never stop. And it encourages us. So to this year, we're saying, we're students of wealth creation in 2024. It sets us up to have a better relationship with money. Part of wealth creation, guys, is what I want to do today. So we've got about 15, 20, just over 15 minutes. Get your notepads, get ready for this, because this will help set you up for life. About 15 years ago, I began to, actually more than 15 years, I began to imagine my lifestyle. Just today, I was on my way back with 4 of our children, 3 of our children, Hyacinth, Josiah, and Heavenly, and my wife and I, from personal training. And as we're going back, we were on a phone call with someone who was like, I wish I had your lifestyle. And I said, well, you need to start imagining it. You need to start creating it, right? So how many of you would like to create a better lifestyle than the way you're living right now? How many of you would like to live a better lifestyle than the way you're living right now? So if I get enough yeses, I want to live a better lifestyle than I'm currently living, then we proceed with this exercise, because this exercise will be able to get you started. And it's not the end. It's not, if anyone thinks, okay, as soon as I do this exercise, everything's going to be fine. No, this exercise will open you into an amazing world that God has always intended for us, because he put that within us to live a better lifestyle than we are. So create a lifestyle worth living. What does that look like? So here's some things I want you to think about. Number 1, go for gusto, commit to designing a quality future. Okay, so I want you to think about that and saying, what does it mean to design a quality future in my life? So a lot of us we live just in the journey we are in. If all we can afford today is ABC, then we believe tomorrow is only about ABC. We often go past a house and we go, I wish I could afford this house, rather than how can I afford? Or we might go past a car and say, I wish I could have a car to drive. Or we might go past a friend who has a job and say, I wish I could have that job. I remember when I came to a position where I got a career, and then I said, I don't want to be a career man. I want to be a businessman. I want to free up my time. It became hard in business, because you start off and you don't have a whole lot of ideas and thoughts. And if you're new to the game and you don't have good mentors sometimes, and I saw my friends who had graduated with me surpassing me in their careers. And if I didn't have a great lifestyle of thought and a great motivation to say, I want to live beyond just a career, I would not be where I am today. And so sometimes you think we need to start imagining a quality future. My quality future was, I wanted to see all my children take their first steps, say their first words. And even today, when I was preparing for this, my wife said to me, she came running into the room, locked the room, because my little Heavenly was chasing her around. And she goes, honey, this girl is disturbing me. And my Heavenly walked in. I had this biggest smile on my face, because it was like, man, you've grown. just in the last couple of days, you've grown beautiful as well. So I said, come here. And she sat with me. She massaged my head, gave me a kiss on my forehead, asked me a million questions while I was trying to do this. But hey, that's the lifestyle I wanted to create. And she thinks that I'm a hero. She touches my muscles and said, Dad, you're very strong. And I go, whoa. Till she gets her boyfriend, I am the best thing ever that she's going to see, right? That's my lifestyle that I've created. What's the lifestyle you're creating? Secondly, visualize your direction. So I want you to start thinking about what is my direction I'm going to visualize as when I create a lifestyle worth living. Where am I heading towards? When I ask sometimes the young people, what are you going to do in the future? I don't know. I go, okay, you don't have a future thought or plan. But when I ask the really young kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? They have an idea. But as we get older, life just kind of seems to take over, and all the problems of life take over, and we embrace those, and we forget the quality of life we're living. And we get to adulthood, we've even forgotten our dreams. So visualize your direction, and you might want to write these down, guys, and start to think through this for this week, because this is part of your goals for this week. This is part of your direction for this week. Visualize your direction. What's going to look like? Forget about thinking it can't be done. There's about 7, 8 of us here who we're believing for the impossible, for you to have your own home. If you are a person here that says, I want to believe too with those guys, and I want you to put a H for home in the chat group, because we're believing for you to have a home. And it feels impossible, but hey, the impossible becomes possible when you begin to visualize the direction in which we're going to. Because you're not just having a home for the sake of, keeping up with the Jones, and you're having it because there's a purpose behind it. So visualize your direction. Thirdly, focus on a fresh beginning. What does that mean? We need to put aside what has happened in the past, successes and failures. I don't know if you've met anyone, or if you're one of those people who live in the successes of the past. 20 years ago, I made a good amount of money, or 10 years ago, I sold this property and got XYZ amount of money, or 15 years ago, I was in this amazing opportunity, or even live in the past of your failures. How many of us do that? Again, I want you to think about focus on a fresh beginning. I like what Paul says. He says, if anyone is in Christ, is a new creation. Old things passed away, behold, all things are new. And the word Christ is about truth. And if anyone is in the truth, you are a new creation. Old things passed away, all things are new. And it's not pretending the past doesn't exist. When people come and remind me of my past, I am the first to say, yep, that was my past. I do a Papa Luke. Yep, that was my past. But I have a new, fresh beginning. And it is awesome because I've visualized it, and I'm committed to designing a quality future. How many of you are committed? 100%. I want you to put 100%, because this is going to take a lot. This is the sacrifice where people will come and say, it's not possible. You will be your worst enemy that says, who do you think you are? But you're going to have to commit 100% to designing a quality future, because that's all about why we're creating wealth, is to design quality futures. Okay. And I'm going to, those ones who put a H, we're going to look at a home. 2024, we're going to believe for amazing things. When you put something down, something happens. When it says, there's an old saying, when the student is ready, the master turns up, right? And I like that when we are ready to see something happen, the solution is in place. Okay, how exciting. The opportunities are there, and you don't have to strive for it, but you got to be 100% committed for it. Okay. Number 4, create your own opportunities. Like oftentimes, because I move in the prophetic realm, a lot of people call me and say, oh, what's God saying to you about me today? And I often say to them, I can tell you what the Lord is saying, or I can teach you to hear God for yourself. And what God would say to you is just step out. Like trust his DNA in you. If you're an inheritor, not an imposter, trust his DNA in you. Create your own opportunity. Stop waiting and saying, is this the right opportunity? Do your due diligence. Understand that God will come in the position and place that you are in and help you to move to that next step. And he'll bring people around you. Be in a community. I love that we have a community like this that can meet every Monday, Friday, and in between that jump on different meetings together and just go together. I mean, how many of you appreciate, like the last 2 years, some of you have jumped with us in our trainings. We've talked about the last 2 years about flying with the eagles, hunting with the lions, find your tribe. How many of you feel like I have a tribe that is focused, committed to wealth creation, and has this purpose that is not just about money. It's not about riches, it's about wealth. It's not about selfishness, it's about selflessness. It's about generosity. And to be in a group like this is amazing. Okay, and I want to say thank you to our tribe together, because we made it together. Papa Luke and I and Pastor Rubika could have created a group and then waited for you all to join in. And if no one joined in, we could have said, oh, that's us. No, we all made it happen together, right? And we're part and parcel of things happening. Number 5, live more consciously each day. Okay? How many of you worry about money every day? Like at least once a day? Can you tell me how many times you've thought about money, the bills you got to pay, the stress that it's caused you, the not enough income that's coming, or didn't get paid enough, or didn't get paid that day, or oh my gosh, I've got to do this XYZ about money. Can you give me a number of times? I mean, I can't count the number of times I have a negative thought of pressure that I don't have the money to do XYZ, right? And so live more consciously each day is when I start to create this position. Every time worry comes in about money, is like, I'm an inheritor. I'm an inheritor. And I say, faith it till you make it. Don't fake it. Don't fear it. Okay? Faith it till you make it. Don't fake it. Don't fear it. Is this helping anyone? Okay. We need to have 100% commitment to designing a quality future. Some of you put that, I'm 100% committed. What about the rest of you? Because this will only work for that. I'm not, Sandeep Bro spoke the other day and said, hey, let's get 500 people on here. Let's grow this to 500. That would be so exciting. But we want 500 committed people, yeah? So how many of you think we could grow this to 500 committed people by being committed ourselves? As we are committed, you will start to lead these groups. You will start to benefit and tell others. You'll start to encourage others because you'll have fruit, just like I am. And I was saying to someone today, let me not be the only one saying I've got fruit on something. Let us create more people who have fruit and more people who have the ability to look at challenges and say, for every challenge, there's an opportunity that will create a harvest. Live more consciously each day. Next, number 6, know your inner self. What does that mean? You need to know, yeah, awesome. Good to see more people saying I'm 100% committed. Thank you. Yeah. Because I'm gonna give of myself and my time here, and some of the other leaders are gonna coming on, and Papa Luke and others coming on here, going to give of their time and share with you ideas and thoughts as we go on through this year. So we're going to see things take place as we go, and that's going to be very exciting. Know your inner self, because who is our worst enemy? I want you to take your finger, guys. If your camera's not on, turn your camera on, take your finger, twirl it in the air, and Hiromi's already got it. Point it to your nose and say, I am my worst enemy. Okay? It's not the one out there. It's not the person in the other strand. Yeah, that's it. Okay? I want to see everyone pointing. Twirl your finger in the air. It's not these guys up there. It's not those ones there. It's not those ones there. I am my worst enemy. Okay? Now that's good news, guys. Why? Because I can't change everyone else, but I can change me. I think Alex said something like that in the chat group, right? I can't change everyone. I can't change everyone else. I can change me. So that's good news when I'm the worst enemy, but I have to know my inner self. What are my inner fears? What is the thing that's really affecting me? What's the thing that's really disturbing me? And what's pushing my buttons? What's the thing that kind of gets a hold of me and I need to really think about and not blame anyone else? And so every time you want to blame a situation, stop and think, why am I reacting and not responding? And how do I learn to respond? Why am I reacting to something? Okay? Know your inner self. Lastly, discover your passion in life. Like without a passion, we have no life. I think I've often heard Miles Monroe say the richest place in the world. Where is it? Someone type it in. Where's the richest place in the world?
The graveyard.
The graveyard. Thank you, Emmanuel. It's good typing. The graveyard, right? Why is it the richest? Because there are lost dreams, there are lost hopes, there's lost passion. There is stuff that we so want to do that we have allowed life to cumber us with. And as Papa Luke said, a school has set us up for the wrong thing. That's why I'm so privileged to homeschool my children, and to be able to take them on this journey where they get to learn as we go and grow as we go, and we get to be a part of their lives. I love that. I love that when I finish this, I have another meeting after this, and then after that, sometimes my wife and I will just go for a walk to McDonald's as part of our exercise regime. Don't judge me for going to McDonald's. I have a cup of coffee, no sugar. I'm a good boy, and we have a toast, and we walk for an hour. We chat together, and we walk back. Now, I love that we can create these lifestyles, but I want you to start designing your lifestyle. Start imagining what your lifestyle is all about. Finally, be positive. As Papa Luke always says, all truth is positive, but not all positivity is truth. So have truth-based thinking. That's positive, right? Because all truth is positive, but not all positive thinking is truth. So be positive around the truth. Okay, we don't want to just say, if you don't know how to steward $500,000, don't try to make 5 million. Are you guys getting me? All right. If you don't know how to steward $300,000 a year, don't try to make $500,000. Learn to steward what you have. If you don't know how to steward $10, okay. Like my son Hyson came the other day and said, "Dad, I've been helping last year volunteering with the soccer. This year my coach wants to pay me," and I said no. Hyson, what did I say to you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm
What did I say?
You said sometimes, yeah, it's good to get paid, and if because you're already taking care of me, and I have almost like I eat food at her house, you providing almost anything I need, and you told me I can maybe help use the money to help other people, and I can just use it for my investments or other stuff that I need.
Excellent. Can we give him a big clap or a 555 in the chat group to say, well done, Hyacinth? Because Hyacinth was doing the thing that culture tells us, oh, no, you don't need to pay me, right? It's okay. And I don't want him to ever rush after money as first, but he'd volunteered for a year, and now he was seeing value in him, where his coach said, I want to pay you for the soccer training that you're doing. And he said no, and I said, no, Hyacinth, just tell your coach to talk to me. I want you to get paid. I want you to know what it feels like to have the value of that. And I know you don't need the money. You're very well looked after at home. You're an inheritor, not an imposter, but use that money. You can help others, because the coach has money from his club that he's got to pay, right? So how many of you know that there's money floating around in this earth? It doesn't go out of this earth. And do you deserve to have it? If the answer is yes, then you need to learn to steward it well. All right. So if there's money in the kitty for the coach to pay another junior coach, and the junior coach says no, then what's going to happen to that money? I don't know, but I'd rather it come into the hands of someone who's going to steward it well. And I just love what Hyson said. I can give it to someone who needs help, or I can invest it. How many of you think that's a great idea? Okay. And so that's what I want you to think about. How you steward money well is on how you think about yourself and creating this. So go for gusto, commit to designing a quality future, focus on a fresh beginning, visualize your direction, focus on a fresh beginning, create your own opportunities, live more consciously each day, know your inner self, be positive, discover your passion in life. So guys, I want you to just think about this for the week. This says you are deserving. If you're going to commit to designing a quality future, you need to be willing to say, I'm deserving of what I need. It's not about driving that Lamborghini. It's not about having that $1 trillion home with 25 bedrooms in it and a bathroom, 2 bathrooms in each bedroom that you don't need, right? If you got 9 kids like me, I still don't need 25 bedrooms, but I need more bedrooms than some of you do, right? But it's not about creating something that you can't keep up to. It's about saying, what am I deserving of? What's the quality of life that I want to live? Okay, I exercise every day because I have a quality of life that I want to live. and I made that choice. And it's not always easy, but I have a desire for this. I have a 100% commitment to seeing change in my life, in my health, in my wealth, in my relationships. Okay, I'm big on relationships. You guys know I will never force you to do anything and ask you to do anything that I haven't done myself, and I'll never coerce you to do anything that I've done that I think you should do. I'll just give you opportunities because I never want you to say to me, you never gave me an opportunity. You are deserving. I want you to put your hand on your heart right now. And this is really important. This is going to, this is for some of you, it's going to be hard. Some of you, it's going to be easy. Some of you are not going to get it for a minute, but I want you to say it 10 times. I want you to close your eyes and speak to yourself and say, I am deserving. And I want you to say it again 10 times. I am deserving. I am deserving. And slow it down and speak to your inner self and say, I am deserving. I am deserving. And by the time you get to the fourth or fifth time, maybe you'll start to hear what you're saying. And then see if you are responding well to that. I am deserving. I am deserving. And if you say, I can't say that, I'm not deserving, I don't deserve it, you don't know my past. Doesn't matter about your past, doesn't matter about your current. I am deserving. I am deserving. It's the greatest place of humility to be able to recognize how God sees you and says you are deserving. 2 more times. I am deserving. I am deserving. Wow. So I'm going to put some music on for just 5 minutes, and I want you guys to just do this exercise with me. I want you to design your future just before we finish off. I want you to write down 3 things you would do if you retired from your job and had time and money and great health. I want you to go to Google or draw pictures, not pictures, but draw pictures of your perfect lifestyle that you feel you would want your generations also to have. What do I mean by that? Sometimes we don't think about ourselves as deserving. So I want you to think about what would you want your future generations to have, because we would want our children to have the best, right? But I want you to think about living your legacy today, not just leaving a legacy, but living it, being an example, because you're deserving. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then we're going to finish off. We're just a little bit of overtime, but let's do this. Awesome, guys. How's everyone feeling? It's a starting point. It's not the end. I know some of you may have more to write. Others of you might have struggled a little to get started. Today is about designing our future, because there's no running with wealth without having an understanding of what it's going to create and design for us is a dangerous place, because then anything could come in. And have you ever heard the statement, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything? Well, if you don't have a future design, then you'll just take whatever comes to you. I like that Hyacinth has believed in the Lamborghini, so he will not steal my car when he has got his license, because I don't have a Lamborghini, so I'm safe, right? When you have in mind that this is what I want, you won't settle for second best. And I always appreciate my beautiful wife, and I say there is no other woman in the world that can do what she does for me and looks after me the way she does. So when I have that in my mind, and I've already thought about that best thing ever, and nothing else can take its place, right? But we have to have a plan. And I remember being around three particular couples, one being Papa Luke and Mom Carol, and finding couples that I could see connected so beautifully together, because I didn't grow up seeing and being around families and marriages that were healthy. I didn't know they were unhealthy, because we just, you just grow up in what you think is a healthy environment. And I remember hanging around Papa Luke and Mom Carol and two other couples, one of which was the one that married Gertrude and I. And I began to design my future. I began to design how I wanted my wife and me to interact. To be able to treat my wife as my best friend was not something I'd ever seen in a married couple growing up. In all the relationships in church, in community, in home. And so to be able to see that in Papa Luke, and see that in this amazing pastor in Uganda and his wife, and they treated each other as friends. So are you getting what I'm saying, guys? Design your future. If you're married and go, oh, that's too late, I can't. No, still design your future. Don't change your wife or husband, but design your future with them and say, this is what I want. This is how I want to be. All right. Please don't go say Ruben said to replace you because you're not part of my design. I'll get in trouble. All right. You can replace your car, you can replace your house, but don't replace relationships. Instead, design your future. All right. But on the same token, in a more serious note, if you're in a relationship that's toxic, design your future. Don't just go, oh, I'm going to live in that. Like if you've changed and the other person hasn't, and that could be a marriage relationship, but it could also be children, parent relationship, it could be sibling relationships. Like design your future. And when you design it, then you say, that's not deserving of who I am. That's not added to my value, and it's not valuing the other person either. You know, I know in the last few days, in the recent days, some of us have had to make some decisions around some relationships that have been close to us. But designing our future said this was the best option for everybody. Is that making sense? All right. So hope this has helped. Love to hear from one or two people before we finish off. I've put this on our group as well.